One of our favorites. We always were entertained with Joey Votto. He even said that he was trying to take his shot not too long ago with Taylor Swift, and then all of a sudden Travis Kelce moved in for the kill, and then he's done. And then he had nothing left to live for and decided that he was going to retire and go live in Toronto, and no one would ever hear from him again. And then he got all emotional the last time when we were talking about the final days, maybe a couple of tears in there, and now it's over. The Hall of Fame career of Joey Votto, freshly retired Reds first baseman, joining us on the program. How's retirement feel, Joey?
Why didn't you tell me to quit earlier? We had that last interview, and you were kind of nudging me, but push, push. I mean, I wish that I had not wasted the last 6 months of my life. I wish you had told me clearly, hey, it's over.
But what is scarier, not playing well or the fact that you're retired or retirement?
So I played 17 years with the Cincinnati Reds, and all of them great, and the fans were great. I played well for most of it. And then there was just no interest, no major league interest in the offseason and free agency either. And I reached out to the Toronto Blue Jays, my hometown team, and signed a minor league contract with them. And I got hurt in spring training. And truly, it feels like retirement since last fall. It feels like my last game in Cincinnati was, everything went quiet. There was no interest. When you're not on stage, nobody cares. I wasn't able to perform and compete in front of fans on television, do interviews. Your phone goes cold, your circle gets really, really small, and it's really felt like retirement over the past 9 months. So I think if you were to ask me after the last day of the season last year, I would have had a much different answer than I do now. But now I'm not quite as afraid because I basically felt like I've retired over the last 9 months.
Yeah, but I've been around athletes for 40 years. You guys don't want to be told when to retire. You have to realize yourself. Even if others see it, I couldn't have convinced you, hey, just stay with the Reds, retire a Cincinnati Red. Don't try to do this anymore. You're good. Come back, retire, have an official retirement with the Reds. But you had to explore that, not me or anybody else.
I think in my experience, so I had a pretty serious injury in 2022, and I couldn't stand the idea of injury essentially crushing my competitive ability. And I'm not talking about the internal, I'm talking about the physical ability. And the idea of an injury essentially ending my not my peak, but my ability to compete. When you enter a season, you're thinking, and almost my entire career, I thought I'll be at the All-Star game. Almost my entire career, I thought I'll win an MVP award this year. Virtually my entire career, I thought I'll be trending towards a playoff, a World Series, a great season. I'll be able to look back with positive reflection. And the last couple years, they were just such ugly performances that I thought this year will be the year. I'll be able to prove it. I'll be healthy. I'll be able to be an all-star. I'll prove to them, they should have re-signed me. I'll prove to the league, you should have signed me. I'll be at I'll be able to like have my moment. And at some point, there's an end to it. And I think the thing that I said whenever I was asked, should you end your career? I said, no, no, no. I want the game to tell me I'm done. I don't want a team to tell me I'm done. I don't want somebody in the media or a family member or a friend or a fan to say you're washed. And I was washed. I mean, I was done probably last year at some point, but I'm the one that has to be able to make that decision. And that's where I'm at right now. And I can say I was down in Buffalo. I played for the AAA team in for the Toronto Blue Jays in Buffalo, and I played in Scranton, Wilkes-Barre, and I played in Worcester, if I'm saying that correctly, Massachusetts. I rode the bus, I carried my bags, and I still wanted to make it happen. When I say carry my bags, carry my hotel bags, I was doing the minor league life, and I still wanted to make it happen. And it wasn't until the other day when I didn't want a plate appearance, when the coach was like, "Do you want this at bat?" And I was like, "I don't. I don't." And I've never had that.
Yeah.
Always had a direction. I've always been like, I'm going that way. And I was like, I'm good. And I'll share a quick story. So I'm sitting on the bench, and the coach asked me if I wanted a plate appearance. And my late father, who died 16 years ago, and I had a really strong relationship. He was, to this day, when you lose someone like that, it's something you can't ever fill. And he and I played catch together, and we loved the Toronto Blue Jays. And our favorite player was Devon White. He had a specific catching style, and he's a fantastic defender and a real charming personality. We just loved him. He was the guy for the Blue Jays, our guy. And so we'd go out and play catch, and he'd try to catch like Devon White. I'm 9 years old, 11 years old, and we're playing catch together. And I'm sitting on the bench in Buffalo, passing on a plate appearance. And guess who's sitting beside me? Devon White. And he said to me, "So what do you think you're going to do?" And he was talking about my hitting style. Like, what adjustments do you think you're going to make? And I go, "I think I'm done." And he goes, "You mean retire?" And I go, "Yeah, I think I'm done." And he goes, "Okay." And it was like a full circle moment to be able to have a childhood. I'm getting emotional thinking and talking about this, but have a childhood icon and something that I was able to share with my father sitting next to me, and it was poignant, poetic. You draw sort of connections, even if they aren't real, but that felt like a genuine connection for me. That felt like that was almost like poetic. That felt like an end to the story. And I went into the clubhouse, thanked my minor league teammates who require, in my opinion, deserved a thank you because I took plate appearances from them. I took playing time from them. The guy that I replaced hit a grand slam, I think today or yesterday, where I would have been playing. And that was enough. That was enough. Thank the manager, thank the general manager, and then I shared with the public that I'm retiring, and that's it in the best of ways. So I feel good about it.
Talking to Joey Votto, just retired, played 17 seasons with the Reds, won the MVP in 2010, six-time All-Star. But you came to that conclusion. No matter
Yeah.
how you came to it, and that's what's difficult. Like I'm going to have this in 3.5 years. I'm going to retire. It's going to be December 24th of 2027. So I'm planning on it because I don't want to hold on and have people laugh at instead of with. That I want to make sure that I'm sharp doing this. And you got to be you got to be on top of everything for 3 hours it's live. And I do worry about that. I got memory issues. You're just trying to make sure that you're still doing it great because sometimes nobody tells you. Maybe you are slipping a little bit. And so I had to put the expiration date on my career, at least doing this every single day.
That's a different experience. My expiration date happened in the moment. And
Yeah.
people like you and the game and my former team and the league were telling me, "We're good. You're not an interesting player for us. You're not the future. We have playing time that we want to give to other players." Whereas there's I see it, you see it with Bob Costas, or you see it with some of the other icons in media. They're just always going to be in demand. Charles Barkley, same sort of thing. They're just always going to be in the demand, and you'll be the very same. But it's interesting to me that you're electing to call it, and I wasn't able to do that. It's just different. I'm 40. I feel good. I feel good. So the idea of stopping something I've been doing my entire adult life, my even my teen years. I was having a conversation with my mother yesterday, and after this we can lighten it up a little bit, but I was having a conversation with my mother yesterday, and we were sitting down so when I was 18 years old, my mom's been working at the very same restaurant. She's a sommelier, one of the best sommeliers in Canada, and she works at a prestigious restaurant. And when I was 18 years old, I let her know I'm going, and I was about to hop on a plane. She's crying, crying, crying. And I go back to the very same restaurant and I sit with her and we have, I don't drink, but we had a little bit of wine. Typically I don't drink. And we had like a celebratory glass of wine. And I said, we made it. We made it. And I said to her, you know, the thing I'm not worried about not playing anymore, but when my father died, I used baseball as my escape. And it's almost like yesterday or a couple days ago when I stopped playing, it was my way of saying, you know what, I'm ready to face, not like I've mourned my father's passing, but I'm ready to face life. I'm really ready to say I'm done and I'm taking it on. And it was intimidating for me for a while, but I think the last 9 months, how alone I've been in terms of this process has helped me transition into it. So
Um, what was it like to have teammates ask you to buy beer for them?
the guys were down so good to me down there. There was it's interesting because I had some people tell me that they were emotional afterwards, and I thought, there's some players that looked up to me. If there's one or two Canadian players that like, me as a player. And I was like, really? You're just my teammate. You don't think when you're competing every day, when you're training uh, towards being your very best, that anybody cares about you. And generally speaking, in life, most people are concerned about themselves. But I think that when Griffey Jr., for example, transitioned out of Cincinnati, I was like, oh man, that was my teammate. That was I played his video game. I watched him as a boy. And so you don't realize the sort of impact you have, but it was a great experience. It was hard. The hardest thing I did this last 9 months, essentially always being told no, and I was the only one saying yes. And the game telling me no, and I'm saying yes. Airbnbs, basically 5 months of hotels, hurt the whole time, minor league complex. But I loved it. And there was no moment that there was no moment. It was the complete opposite experience of the posh big league life, major league life, the charter jets and the people taking your bags at first class hotels and great pay and all these things. Let's get real here, it cost me money to play baseball this year. And I am not complaining at all, but that's the reality of it. But at no point did I had the best time. I had the best time this year, but it was hard. It was terribly, terribly hard, but I wouldn't trade it for anything.
What it,
And I got my answer.
what's the next act here?
Got a trip to Milan next month. I'm going there's a big baseball card signing in Milan. You didn't know
Really?
there's
No.
no. No, the next act, it'd be nice to be home for a little bit. And I had lunch with my family, my big family. My family had a lunch across in Niagara Falls, and this was on an off day in while I was playing for Buffalo, and I was like, this is way better than what I'm doing. Like carrying around my nephew and playing with him and my niece and seeing my mom, and then my grandmother is a great grandmother to my niece and nephew. It's like we're having lunch and taking our time. It was the best of life. So there's only so much in that. I'm gonna have to continue to drive forward with something, but maybe I'll replace you. It'll be the Dan Patrick
Show
and
featuring
Votto
Joey
show.
Votto. Yeah, yeah. Do you still hate Travis Kelsey for moving in on Taylor Swift before you had
Are
the
they getting
opportunity?
are they getting married or are they just sinners living together? What is
I
this?
don't know.
What are their parents saying about that? Are they just gonna, you know, just,
I,
you know,
I don't know. I think they have their own homes. I think
what about
they.
the family unit? What's going on? What about the family
I,
unit? What is this? You know?
What could have been? What could have been? But you waited.
Kidding,
You
by
were
the
in the
way.
on deck circle. You were in the on deck circle for Taylor Swift, and Kelsey came in and went yard.
Yeah, well, scored a touchdown. It's good. Sort of thing. Yeah.
uh, well, you know what? I look forward to seeing you in the media. I think that'll be great.
I should do
Playoff
that.
analyst, that'd be nice. Huh?
You think I
Yeah,
should do
I
that?
think I.
How's the travel
Yes.
with that?
Uh, you're there for a few days in cities because you'll be there for a series, and so you have an opportunity to go and whatever, how many 4 days, five
How's
days in a city, and then what?
the spread? How's the spread?
How's the spread?
Yeah.
You'll be treated. Clubhouse spread. You'll be good. Your clubbies, they'll still take care of you, or maybe Jeter buys you dinner.
Can you imagine though, just traveling around and talking about other people doing stuff? I will say this. I've been, and I don't
It's
know how much
called
more,
it's called being in the media, Joey. That's
right?
what you do. You talk
Right?
about other people. You always want to talk about yourself. Now you have to talk
Oh,
about others.
this is the thing that I'm most excited about. I say this sincerely. This career, this baseball thing, this athlete thing is so selfish. It is, my body's my business, but it's all about me, 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 me. And the thing
Yeah.
that I am most looking forward to are using the words we, they, her, him. Like you were on. I get it. I'm looking forward to talking about other people, and whether I do that in the media landscape or I do that just in my community, whether volunteering or a family or my friends or what have you, I'm most looking forward to that because I feel like it'll rewire my brain. I think it'll put me in a healthier place because you are constantly concerned about yourself. And I'm tired of that. I'm tired of that. And so that's when and what if I do that for TBS or Fox or ESPN or whomever, that'll be great too. And I think I'll have a great time. So, yeah. Dan,
Well, thank
we had
you
a
for
good
sharing.
time too. You
Yeah,
took
we did.
great care. I'm a nobody and you
Well,
put me on the show and you made me feel welcome. So thank you so much.
let's stay in touch.
I'd love to. How about that,
I'll
Aaron
see you
Judge?
in Milan. I'll
Yeah.
see you in Milan.
Yes. Bring your
Thank
Sharpie.
thank you, Joey.
Thanks, Dan.